All right, so in this video I'm going to show you how I took this picture from looking like this to this, right? um this picture was provided to me by one of the members on the group. I've been trying to look for I've been trying to look for the owner of this picture. I think a lot of chats have covered it, but um I'll look for the chat again and put the person's Instagram handle on the description of this video. But yeah, a big thank you to this member of our group that actually volunteered to offer this picture to be used for this tutorial. I'm really grateful, right? So I'm just going to do a basic edit. These pictures were well lit, so I think editing this picture from here to here. There are a lot of things I would like to do in this video that the first time I was doing I didn't really touch. Something like fixing this part here. I hope I'm able to remember to do that. Yeah, so let's start. So I'm going to delete this picture here. So first thing first, we are going to start with frequency separation. So like I always say, with edit, you have to look at the image and like, okay, what do I have to fix? You don't just say, oh, because I'm supposed to edit a picture, let me just edit for editing sake, or I want to edit to make a bad picture look good. I've always been saying this, that editing cannot make a bad picture look good. Editing will only make a good picture look better. Editing will only enhances already good image, already like good looking image already. You understand? So editing will not perform magic um and make a picture that is bad to be instantly good, or I don't know. I hope you get the point, right? So edit is for enhancing, retouching is for enhancing, not for miracle performing. You understand? You're not going to perform miracle because you know how to do frequency separation. Anyway, so the first thing you're going to do now is just we're going to I'm going to use, this is my preference. You can go ahead and start doing frequency separation here, but first thing I'm going to do dodge and burn, right? Not really dodge and burn, I'm just going to do dodge. The reason I'm doing dodge is just to correct for the luminosity. This part of the face is dark, I want to bring it up. This part here is dark, I want to bring it up. Now you must understand that shadows are not necessarily a bad thing. This is shadow, it's not necessarily a bad thing because that's what creates shape, that's what creates dimension. So we do not want to entirely eliminate it, but we want to make it as soft as possible. So when we say a shadow is soft, it means that you know that this place is a shadow, but you can still see detail in it. So that is what we mean by soft shadows, right? So you know that this place is the shadow here is creating dimension, is creating that shape, but it's not really dark. You can still see a lot of details from there. So that's what I'm going to do. So after creating a dodge, playing the dodge action, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the flow down to 1. Then I'm just going to brush around here just to brighten up the shadows, right? As you can see, I'm not eliminating shadows before, this after. So the reason why I do this before frequency separation is that most times when you do this, you kind of create some patches, right, or some place being brighter or darker than some area. So when you do this and you now do frequency separation, it's going to just blend those things out. So as you can see here, it's creating a kind of shape I don't like, so I'm going to push that out, right? Then maybe here, I don't really need to do it because it's adding some kind of shape to it, so I'm just going to leave it like that. So coming here to, I'm just going to brush. So make sure that your flow is at 1 and your hardness, you can really take it down. Most times I leave it here, but yeah, let's just take it down to 0 so that it does not create unwanted hard edges, right? So yeah, so now as you can see, this is the before and this after. So we just lifted up most of the shadows and just brighten it up a bit. So I can bring this here like this. Then this area of the eyes, I think from the first time I did this picture I didn't actually bring this one out. So as you can see, just brightening this already makes it not to be dark, right? So before and after, right? So you can, if you are doing this to your image, you can just move around and see, oh, what area is too dark that I want to make bright. Okay, so we can come to the neck area and just lift up the shadows a bit, not so much, right? So as you can see, before and after. So I'm going to do run on that the dodge action again, because I want to work on um, the leg area here, So I'm just going to brush here just to brighten it up, right? So remember, I'm doing this before frequency separation, so that whatever inconsistencies or in like whatever patches it brings out from doing the dodge, I'm just going to blend it with frequency separation, right? So as you can see, we have before and after, right? So I'm going to leave this here because it creates dimension, right? This part we're going to fix later. We're not going to use the dodge action. Maybe you can break it out. Let me run the action again. Just lift up the shadows, right? So we're just going to lift up the shadows. Right. Okay, so this before, this after. I mean, I think this is okay. All right, I guess you get the point now. So if I group this together, right, you can see before, after, before, and after. Right? So I just create a stamp visible layer. Ctrl Z, Ctrl Shift Alternate E is going to create a stamp visible layer. So what a stamp visible layer is it's just going to take a screenshot, or it's just going to merge everything below it and create a new file. So all what you have done in the layer underneath is going to merge it together and make it a new file up. So if I do turn this off and turn it on, you're not going to see any difference, because this is a combination of everything we have done before, right? So I'm just going to turn off this background layer and merge this down to this, right? Okay, so one thing, the reason I usually merge my file down, let me control this. The reason I merge my file down is because I'm actually doing a screen recording. Normally, if I'm editing, I do not merge my files down, right? Because the reason I merge it down while I'm recording is because of RAM. So the more layers you have in opening your Photoshop, the more RAM you're going to need, right? This my computer have 12 gigs of RAM, which is enough, right? But when your Photoshop takes like 8 gig already, so we have 4 gig left, understand? I know that your system is going to use maybe 1 gig, then the recording software is going to be using also maybe 1 gig, 1.5 gig. As you can see, we are left with like few gigs left. So if I don't merge down, the computer will start to struggle, right? Just because I'm recording, understand? So that's why I usually measure. But if I'm editing without recording, I don't measure down, because I don't even create stamp visible layer. So I just work like that, so that if there's any time I want to change anything, the layers are there for me to change. But for tutorial sake, for recording purpose, to make my system flow really well, I'm just measure down, right? So when I'm merging down, I actually leave my background layer. So let me show you this, which is it. If I leave this background layer on like this and merge down, it's just going to merge to this background layer, but I don't want that, because I want this to be able to show you the before and after, right? So I can actually show you before and after. I hope that makes sense, right? Okay, so the next thing we're going to do now, yeah, sure. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do now is just to run frequency separation. I'm going to come to my Retouch Academy panel. I'm just going to click on via Gaussian Blur, and I've said this severally, right? Whatever, when you're going to use when you're going to use your blur radius, you have to um whatever you want to blend away, you have to put on a low layer. So whatever is blur like this is going to be on a low layer. So if you want a lot of texture on your image, you're going to go high. So if I go like 12, now as you can see, there's let me zoom out a bit from this. As you can see, there's practically um no texture on the low layer. So if I still go up, you can see there's no texture on the low layer. All the texture are up on the high layer, which means that this image, if I edit like this, the image is going to have a lot. It's going to retain a lot of texture. I mean, let's flow with this 12.5, right? So the our retouching is going to have a lot of texture because we preserved the texture. But let me just show you another ones. But if we go lower, let's see let's say we go to like 2, 3, 1. As you can see, we are going to have less texture. We're going to burn up all the texture, and the skin is going to be very, very smooth. So let's go to like, so when you go to 24, I mean, you can't really see any color again. So even if you go to 42, you can't really do anything because you are taking both the colors and everything to the high layer. So you want to stick with 14. Should be the highest that you should go, depending on the megapixel of your camera. I mean, I've edited images from 45 megapixel camera before. I mean, 14 is the highest you ever need to go. So let's go to, I mean, 9.4 is okay. I click on OK. Alright, so now we're going to first of all deal with the color. So this is the color layer that have all the blemishes. I mean, not the blemishes, I have all the color imperfections, as you can see. This is the high layer that has all the texture. So we're first of all going to smoothen the skin with coming to the low layer, right? So low frequency layer. So I'm just going to, my brush settings is as you can see, this part is shaded, so make sure you're on shaded. Make sure this is transparent, this is shaded. West 30, low 30, mix 30. Like always, I don't go beyond 20 on my flow, so I'm going to leave this as 13. Right, so this is the smoothness of your brush stroke. I leave it as 5. If your system is not really fast, if your system is slow, so you want to leave it as 0 because this also will drag. I mean, if you increase your brush size and this number is set to a very high number, if you increase the brush size, immediately you touch the skin, the system is going to hang because it has to do a lot of calculations, right? So if your system is not really fast, you can leave this at 0. So the way I usually use my brush stroke is just brush around the structure of the face. Like you can see, I'm doing like a circular motion, right? Some people do things like this. Now I'm not touching the mouse, right? So nothing's gonna happen. Some people do stuff like this, but then as you can see, you're moving colors around, which is not going to be nice. You're moving colors around, which is going to distort the shape of the face. So you know that there are 3 things that creates 3 dimensional that create that 3-dimensional look. We have the highlights, mid-tone, and shadows. So you don't want to take colors that is in the mid-tone to the shadow. You don't want to take colors that are from the shadow to the mid-tone. If you do like that, the image will be flat. So to retain that 3-dimensional look, you have to stick with brushing colors that are in the same shade. If your color is in mid-tone, make sure it's mid-tone. Most times, always if you're using a mouse, always have the habit of once you do one area, release your mouse, go to another area, click it again, do that, release your mouse, go to another area. So that's how you're going to be able to retain the dimension of the face. Right. So I'm just going to brush this up like this. Right. So as you can see in this image right now, we are retaining a lot of details because we used a relatively high radius, right? So I'm going to fast forward this and we'll continue from there. All right. So so far this before and after, before and after, nothing much serious because of the radius we chose, because there's a lot of texture on the scale, so it's like a retouching an image to make it look natural. So one thing I want to make mention here is I've seen a lot of people retouch image, especially images like this that shows the hand and shows the oval shape. As you can see, there's a 3D dimension, right? This is kind of oval, right? It's not flat. A lot of people, when they want to retouch this, they retouch it and the image, the hands look very flat. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. The way to fix that is to use invert check layer. Alright, so invert check layer. So to use the invert check layer, so come here, invert check layer. So if you don't have my action sets, you can get it because this invert check layer is part of my action set. So now what this does is it's just going to invert the image and show you the parts that are highlights, the parts that basically highlight and shadows, right? So as you can see, this area is shadow, this area is highlight, and this area is shadow. So this part that is white is shadows, this part that is black is highlight, and this part that is gray, that is in between black and white, is majorly mid-tone. So the reason why if you retouch these hands is going to be flat is because you blend these highlights into the shadow, or you blend the shadow into the highlight, the hands will become flat. So the way to do this is that you want to retain the highlights to be where they are, the shadows to be where they are, and the mid-tone to be where they are, but so that you have that same 3D dimension of the hands. I don't know if you get. So look at what we're going to do. I'm just putting this up, and I'm still going to come to the low layer. See, I'm still brushing on the frequency separation action on the low layer, but because of this invert check layer now, I know where to brush. I know that okay, this is the shadow or kind of mid-tone area, so I'm not going to go beyond here. You understand? So I'm just going to brush around here like this, right? um as you can see, you can also see that this area is kind of getting smooth, right? So to retain that 3D dimensionality, if there's any word like that, right? So I'm doing this, right? So as you can see, I'm not moving colors from where the highlight is. I'm just making sure that this is here. Just to, I don't like it when I see a lot of people do it. There were some pro guys that that have big pages on Instagram. You see them, they retouch hands and it's kind of flat. I mean, no human being has flat hands, right? So you have to try and make sure that you retain that three dimensionality of it, right? Look at it now. As you can see, it's still there, like it's not flat. So this is before, this is after. You just smoothing it out. It's not flat. The oval shape is still there. You understand? The oval shape is still there. So, I mean, this is a secret I'm giving to you, right? So I've been doing this for a very long time. I just maybe this will help someone. So yeah, so this, as you can see, this is kind of a mid-tone area because there's nothing really black or white around here. So this is mid-tone, as you can see. This is how to read the inverted layer, right? So this part of this car, I mean, you have to ask your client if they want you to remove this car, or you have to, like, when you are doing your shoots, be always try to read the reaction of your client when it comes to their scar, right? So if there are people that actually want their scar to be there, I mean, you actually don't want to remove the scar, but there are people that actually don't mind you removing the scar, so you can also remove. So as you can see, the hand is not flat, right? That is not flat, so the hand it still has that three-dimensionality to it, right? So you can also do the same here. As you can see, there are a lot of I would have loved to use the dodge to brighten the hand, but I mean, you can do that if you I feel the hand is not receiving a lot of lights, but that's the story for another day. All right, so By the way, this video is going to be a long one, because it's been a while I posted. Um, so now we have this, right? So you can see before, after. I think I overworked this upper part. I think I overworked it, but what I'm going to do now is just create a mask. Come to my brush settings and just paint over it. Let's make it black. So this is how to remove the effects. Right, let's so make sure the flow is one. I don't want to remove everything. I just want to reduce the effect of it. Right, so before and after. I mean, I think this is good. Oh, let me just get it like this. Yeah, I think this is better now. Before and after. Alright, so moving on. We are going to use the same check layer on the legs too, because as you can see also, the legs has like a three-dimensional shape to it, so we're going to use that also. So anytime you're working on hands and the hands are showing three-dimensionality, which means there's highlight, shadow, and midtones, or the leg is highlight, shadow, and midtone, you can't use your eyes to gauge it. So you need the invert check layer to be able to see where the highlights are, so that you blend the highlights without moving them into the shadows. See where the shadows are, blending them without moving them into the midtone or the highlight. Also, as you can see, this shadow is really white. So this is how to just combat that and prevent your image or your body or the body part of your client from appearing flat. So that's one negative things that people say about frequency separation. I mean, frequency separation is, although I know how to do dodge and bond, but frequency separation is my best technique because there's nothing you can't fix, right? There's nothing you can't fix. So if you know how to do it and how to work around the shortcomings, I mean, frequency separation is great. Alright, so Alright, so as you can see, these highlights, this mid-tone, these highlights. So you don't want to blend this together, because if you do that, you're going to lose that shape, right? So you want to work around where the light is hitting naturally, right? So uh, so if you do that and turn this off, as you can see, we are retaining before and after. So you can see that there's no drastic shift from it having a three-dimensional shape to being flat, right? You see, we just all we did was just smoothing out the skin. The structure of the legs and the hands are still there, right? We didn't actually shift anything. So that's one way of fixing it and fixing that, right? All right, so what we're going to do now is what I always do. Come to filter on the low layer, right? Filter, come to dynamic, come to portraiture. I will portraiture 3 and portraiture 4, right? Portraiture 4 does better job than portraiture 3 anyway. So alright, so I'm going to use medium. Click on medium and just make this in blue layer. Click on OK. Alright, so now we have it. So this before and this after, right? Before and after, just smoothing things a little better. Okay, so moving on to the next thing. So I would like to fix this the knuckles, but let's sort out other things, right? As you can see here, the scar, the texture is still there. So what we're going to do, if you're using Retouch Academy, you're going to see that you have to layer. One is clipped to this. The reason why it's done like that, so that in case you make a mistake, you just delete this and create a new one. So what I'm going to do is come to patch 2 and just select this texture here and just move it. That's literally all I'll do. I come to the low layer. I mean, I should have done this before applying um, image dynamic, right? But yeah, I should have done it before applying the portraiture, however. But I mean, I think I have to leave this. I have to do another frequency separation service. Anyway, so let's send this up and merge this down. Right. Um, so far so good. Before and after. So Ctrl Z. One thing I forgot to do is to remove the blemishes on the face. So I'm going to click on the hair layer here. Let me zoom in on the face. So I click on the hair layer here. Come to, you can either use the patch tool, but let spot healing to it's faster. Alright, so I'm just going to do something like this, right? I'll do another frequency separation because I feel the face has a lot more texture to my liking, right? So I'm just going to do another frequency separation just to reduce the texture on the face. So here we are. I'm just going to merge this down. Right. So here we have before and after. Let me zoom out a bit. So here we are before and after, right? So like I said, I'm just going to do one more frequency separation just to work on the face. So I'm going to come to Retouch Academy again. We are Gaussian blur. Now I'm going to reduce it to like 3.2. Click on OK. Yeah, just going to brush on the face. Alright, so yeah, so this is more like it, right? You have texture, but it's this smooth, right? So I'm happy with this, right? So still I'm still going to come to filter image dynamic portraiture 4. Although I want it to be on the face, I'm going to show you how to just separate it and make it be on the face, right? Alright, so do I like it on the skin? I like it on the other part of the skin. Let's see before and after. I really do not, so I'm just going to put it especially on the shirt here. It's kind of making it smooth, so I'm just going to invert it, Ctrl I, create a mask and invert the mask, Ctrl I, then take the brush, make it white and just paint on the face so that it's only let's increase it to 100 so that it only affects everything I've done will only affect the face, right? So you can see. Alright, so please slash face and let's get this. What does that mean? Okay, let's change this to normal. Guess this. Alright, so before and after, right? So let's merge this down. Control S. So we have before and after. So still coming back to this scar here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to dodge, then reduce it to 1 and also brighten it up a bit, right? So I'm just going to brighten up here. Alright, so I think this is okay before and after. So I'm going to merge this down, create frequency separation. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a lot of this to the bring it down a lot of this into the low frequency layer. I'll show you how. So the reason I brought all those down to the low layer is because I want to do this. So if I come down to patch tool, on the low layer. So I'm just going to take this and just move it up. As you can see, it's all gone. So it's easier to remove stuff like this on the low layer than on the high layer. Right, so I'll come to the high layer too and maybe remove some of this stuff here. Right, so that's all. Maybe I'll just brush it a little bit, not so much, just to make it a little bit smooth. Alright, so now we're done with that. This is before, this is after. So image down. Like I said, it's going to be a long video, so you just have to stick them. I'm showing you a lot of things that is going to benefit you. So now to fix this knuckles, it's dodge. You have to use dodge action. You have to use a lot, right? Come down, come to your brush, right, and just paint on it, right, until it gets bright enough to equal the other part. As you can see, here it's brighter than here. So what we're going to do is just brighten the knuckles up, the dodge, right, the dodge action. So when you're using flow of one, there's a point you get to that you won't really be seeing the effect again. So with that, what you're going to do, you're going to add another layer of dodge onto it. But before we do that, we're going to come to the other fingers and just brighten it up also. Alright, so now we're going to add another layer of the dodge. Right, so just want to do this to brighten it up. So you have to do this consistently until you're satisfied with the result, right? Most times, if the area is really dark, you're going to bring out a lot of noise, but I mean, noise does not kill anybody. So I'm going to have this like this. Yeah, so we're done, right? So I group this together and zoom out a bit so you can see before and after, right? So image it down. Might do a little bit of frequency separation to just blend everything together to make it look a little bit more nicer, right? So come to the mixer brush and let's turn up the hair layer. So when you're brushing, you have to be careful so that you don't kind of flatten out the whole fingers. Right? You want to leave some of the areas and make it look natural too, right? So if I turn this on, you can see the fingers are not flat, right? So before and after, right? So yeah, you're almost done with this image. So moving forward, let's just brighten the eyes, right? So we're just going to, so with the Retouch Academy magic eye to brighten the eyes. So you're going to come to this part of circling eyes, come to the brush tool, let's make the flow 100. Let's paint over it. So what it does is just clean up, remove all the blood vessels in the eyes and make it, a little bit cleaner, right? So this is what that does. Let's reduce the opacity a bit. Right, like say 62. So this is before and after, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to this identity in action. I'm just going to apply it again, right? So this bushy. So this is going to make it whiter. Right, as you can see, the eyes is whiter. So the retouch academy, I use it to just clean up the eyes, remove all the blood vessels, and use this all around to make the eyes bright. I don't know if you understand, right? So let me take this to like 50. Okay, so as you can see, um, using good, yeah, before. So now we have before and after. So like I said, I'm going to try to um fix this and make this whole thing disappear. So the simple way to do this is to come to your patch tool and just use the patch tool, but it won't work every time. Let's see if it works here. Yeah, it's not bad, but like it will work every time. Like I said, I might come and use the frequency separation and make it just brush it a little bit. I mean, yeah. So this part, what we're going to do is just use the burn action to darken it, right? There's nothing we can do here, just to darken it. So we're going to come to dodge and burn, come to burn, and click on burn, and come to your brush. Let's make this like 4 or 2. Then we're just going to brush. So when you darken things like this, it's going to make it less visible, right? So it's not going to create that, it's not going to have that distracting look that it currently has, right? So if this does not disturb you, you can just leave it like that, right? But for me, I feel it's disturbing my eyes, so I'm just going to make darken it a bit. So before and after, right? Maybe reduce the opacity before and after. So you're going to mesh this down. Then we're going to come to frequency separation. Like I said, there's nothing frequency separation can solve. So we're going to remove this down to like 2. I click on OK. First, let's brush here and remove this orange color. Then we're going to systematically brush on these parts just to smoothen it, right? So zooming in, you're going to see it's visible, but when you zoom out, it's just going to blend along the whole image, right? So I'm probably going to use a dodge to brighten up this part. So, I mean, now I'm doing too much on this image. It should be done by now. So let's just dodge here. As you can see, we're losing a lot of details on this forehead because of the what's it called, the patch tool we use. But yeah, when you zoom out, you really not good to. When you zoom out, you really not good to see it, right? So let me zoom on. Alright, so we're branching this up a bit. So this is before and after. One thing I'm going to do, I'm going to double click on this mask here, feather, just increase the feather a bit, right? So yeah, I mean, yeah, okay with this. So 2 things you're going to do now. You're going to create a selection, right? Let's select subject. Right, so I'm going to press Ctrl M on my keyboard to bring out the curve adjustment, and I'm just going to raise the midtone to make it brighter. Click on OK. Then I'm going to come to this selective market, so this one here, come click on invert selection. The reason I'm inverting selection because I want to work on the background, right? Just create a new layer, call it a normal brush, sample a color. So I want to remove this dark part, right? So I'm just going to brush on it, increase the flow. I'm just going to brush on it like this, and then that's gone. Here also, Ctrl Z, maybe reduce the opacity a little bit. Alright, so Ctrl D to the layer. So that's that for that. The next thing we're going to do is just add a lot, and we're done. So let's try this. It's fine. Let's look 3. This is also fine. Let's look 4. Okay, I think I'll go with 1 or 2. Let's see what's 2 look like. No, I'll go with 1. This first one here, right? So I'm going to create another lookup table. I always use this 15, right? It just kind of cool down things and kill out all the reds, right? So yeah, so this is before and this after. So yeah, bring this down a bit, bring down a bit. So one last thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to color balance, come to the shadows, and just put in a little bit of blue, right? Then maybe highlight too, a little bit of blue. Mid-tone, will I add blue? Let's just see if this have any pair. So yeah. And so adding blue is just going to make the skin to look a little bit of magenta. If I come to yellow, I mean, adding yellow is better than adding blue. So this is before and this after. Very subtle changes. We are good with this image, right? It took a lot of time because I'm trying to explain to you. Well, if I'm going to do this, probably take me less time. So one thing I might do is just the nose. I feel the nose is a little bit too flat. So come to bone on the action. Just play this along the nose here. Right. Come to this and just increase the feather. Maybe I put more here. So this before and after. Maybe I can reduce the opacity a bit just to create that dimension. So I'll create another one because I feel here is darker than this part. So I'm just going to do this here also. Manipulate this, come to the feather, increase the feather a bunch. Alright. Then reduce the opacity. Reduce the opacity. I think I should do the same for here. Reduce the opacity too. Okay. So if I group this together, we have before and after, before after. Maybe I also reduce everything together. Right. So I just want a little punch. And then yeah, this better. So alright, so if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button and also hit the notification bell because I have lots more video like this coming up. Alright, see you in the next video.